talk about something that has been going on for some time, and I feel bothered. I feel bothered by this thing, which I think we need to be talking about. Um, the issue that was discussed a few days back, where the Uganda Joint Christian Council came out to say there is need for government to postpone the elections. Um, Quite a number of questions really come out to be asked at this material time. If you want to cancel the election that has already started happening, just a few weeks, to the D-Day, what does this signify? And why are the religious leaders coming out at this time? So it's a very disturbing conversation, but hey guys, most welcome to this show. If you're watching, please make sure that you also go ahead and participate. You can also be able to, okay, you can be able to put down your comments, put down your thoughts on this matter, and let me know what you think. Do you think it is right for government to cancel this election? And what could be the likely impact of this? So a few days ago, yesterday, which was the 23rd of December, the Uganda Joint Christian Council came out, the leadership actually of the Uganda Joint Christian Council came out to say they want to postpone, they want us government to postpone the election. And they have been giving out a few thoughts as to why they want that done and why they actually think that government should amend the constitution and let President Museveni continue leading for 3 years as Ugandans heal. I want to ask a few questions here as we get to discuss this very, very serious issue. And I know talking about elections has never been easy, but sometimes when we sit back, we keep quiet on things that we're supposed to be talking about. Sometimes things get really, very, very messy, especially if we, the people that participate in that process, decide to take a resting place, decide to go and chill and don't even say anything about what's going on. Now, some of the reasons that were cited by the religious leaders are, Ugandans need time to heal. They also cited that Ugandans are too angry, okay? Ugandans are too angry towards one another for supporting different political parties. Then the other that they cited was that Ugandans need a good period of time to heal. Now, what is very disturbing, okay, and this is why I'm actually coming to speak about this. What is very disturbing is the fact that the religious leaders are not citing the reasons why they think Ugandans are very, very angry and why Ugandans are actually becoming more anger-oriented. They are not citing those reasons. We know very well what happened on the 18th and 19th of November. We know the things that went on during a national-wide protest that happened after the arrest of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. We know that COVID has been around even before we actually went into this election. So why has it become a very, very serious point for religious leaders to come out and say, hey, look here, we need to be postponing this election, okay? What are the real things behind that are pushing this? Because if postponing this election requires, government to amend the constitution, then why did we start this process when we were not ready? The same religious leaders that know Ugandans are angry, you are not supposed to be stopping things that actually did not anger Ugandans. Voting is not what angered Ugandans. The treatment, the poor treatment of Ugandans that had moved on the streets to demonstrate, to protest, is actually what caused the anger. Okay, that treatment where soldiers, armed people actually were shooting, irrespective of whether you're demonstrating or you're just coming out of an arcade or you're just actually walking on the street. A number of people got injured because they were trying to run out of town to go back to their places of residency. So many people got injured in that process. Now, the question would be, what caused that? And has it been addressed? Okay, what caused the anger? Has it been addressed? Why are people actually saying, hey, we are not happy? Okay, if that is not addressed, then why do you want to cancel the election before you address the issues that are actually you citing as reasons to cancel the election? COVID-19 has been with us since March, okay? March this year. We went into lockdown on 21st March. And since that time, Ugandans have been actually staying home. Many people have not been going to work. I know so many musicians that have stayed in their houses for months. DJs, bartenders, so many restaurants have closed business. Okay, so as a country, we knew what we're dealing with when we decided to go and take on this process. We knew that, you know, we needed to understand how we're going to maneuver the COVID. We also needed to know what exactly we needed to do if this election was to happen. A lot of debate went into this election. A lot of debate went into this process. And at this time, coming out to say, hey, look here, you're not supposed to be doing this election because Ugandans are angry, because there is COVID, and because we think President Museveni should continue leading for the next 3 years as we find a solution, or as we find an alternative to make sure that this doesn't cause danger to this country and that there is peace and harmony in this country. Now, for me, I think as a matter of fact, for anyone that is actually going to be thinking about this, you need very, very critically to think deep down the consequences of canceling this election. Because when you cancel this election, it's going to be tough. That one I can tell you. And vividly, consequences have to be revised and have to be looked into. However, as an individual, I would advise that let the election happen, since we started the process when we knew what we're doing. And we just have a few weeks to the election date. Why should we start stopping the election at this time when actually we know that we should have stopped it before the process started? Wastage of resources. Already people have been moving districts to districts. A lot of candidates have been out there. So calling this to a stop will actually have huge, huge impacts. Secondly, have we looked at the Constitution? Have we looked at the Constitution and how power is actually supposed to be maintained after a failed election? Because all these are very important. I don't completely say what the religious leaders were saying is not important. I think their opinion is important, but their opinion is misguided. And the reason is, when Ugandans were brutalized on the streets, the religious leaders took so long to even come up with a statement just to read it to the people and tell them what they thought about these brutal acts. Okay? It took them so long to just wake up and say, Ugandans have been tortured, Ugandans have been killed. These same religious leaders have never come out to ask for a report of what happened on the 18th and 19th of November 2020, when people went to the street to demonstrate against the unfair arrest or unfair treatment of their candidate. And the religious leaders decided to keep mum. They did not come out to say anything. They didn't come out to say a thing. So how do you expect Ugandans to listen as you say that, hey, cancel the election? Don't go to the votes. I mean, don't let the process happen. This process has happened from as far as last year. When we got into lockdown in March, we knew we were heading for this election. But that's put aside. We're not so unique from other countries. We know countries that have held elections. We know countries that have put forward, um, elections to voting new people into government. The countries are quite many. Our neighbor here did it, Tanzania. We also have Ghana. Ghana did it as well. So we have real countries that, leave the US aside, because the US, it had to do it as well. But the thing is, why does Uganda want to cancel? And if we cancel, do we erase the factors that make Ugandans angry, as the religious leaders were saying? In fact, guys, let me just read to you this statement that that was actually quoted by Daily Monitor. So the statement goes: the Uganda Joint Christian Council, UJCC, led by Archbishop of Kampala, Dr. Cyprian Kizito Lwanga, has asked government to postpone presidential elections for 3 years. The council also wants the constitution to be amended to allow President Museveni to continue ruling during the period of postponement. A few days ago, our top leadership at the council, to which I am the current chairman, discussed this entire sad situation at length and came up with a resolution that we should postpone the presidential elections for at least 3 years, so as to allow both COVID-19 pandemic and the electoral climate to cool down, and also to create a favorable political and social environment which will enhance peaceful, free, and fair elections. This is a debatable position that we call upon the parliament to discuss objectively. Dr. Lwanga told journalists in Kampala on Wednesday, which was yesterday, 23rd of December. This is quite very, very interesting. But as we go into the festive season, I think this is something we need to vividly think about. Cancelling this election has got consequences, and that one is something that we cannot run away from. So as those that are planning to enforce anything that they think will be important in this election, they need to look at the consequences of stopping this election. The consequences of stopping this election is actually what should guide them on what to do, okay? And for me, I think, truthfully, this election should happen. People have been in the fields campaigning. We just have a few weeks to the election. Let it happen. Let the country have the hope that they can change their leadership through an election, okay? And also, I think it is not right for the Christian Council to come out and say that President Museveni should be given 3 more years. Why are you looking at 3 more years when we know that the COVID-19 vaccine is going to be in this country by March next year, which is March 2021? Why are you looking at 3 years? Why didn't you suggest 2 years? Why didn't you suggest 1 year? Okay, so this and more is something that is open for debate, but hey, from a personal view, I don't think this election should be postponed. I actually think this election should happen as soon as 14th January 2021, because that is what will restore the true peace, the true hope, and what will help people to calm down with the anger. But also, it is very important for government to put out a report on the events that happened on the 18th and 19th of November 2020, when a good number of lives were lost. It's very important that Ugandans get to know why this happened, who did it, and what are the consequences of what happened. So thanks, guys, for watching. And of course, if you're watching me for the very first time, please go ahead and subscribe, and also like the live stream to also not to miss out on my next videos. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys again on the next one.